Ooh, Clem, feisty. I like how you played SC2 for the first time in like a month right before our match. Big talk for a guy that's about to be smoked. Oh, I love it. Just like I love Alex gifting those 5 tier 3 subs. That's big. Thank you so much to Slowly as well for the 53 months. And Alex, you've done this a couple times now. That's so big, mate. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Ready when you guys are. Absolutely. Clem is ready. Reynor is ready. The boys are bantering as always. And I hope that we have a great night of video gaming. And I know Reynor Clem is exciting. Even when it's reverse race is exciting. But I'm really excited for Shameless against Mixu later tonight. We'll talk about that. Another goated Alex. I know, mate. Honestly, at this point, guys, either if I have a puppy or a son, I'm naming it Alex. Because I have too many great Alexes in my life. And I want more at this point. It just works out. Let's do it. Friday night video gaming for the 70th time. Time really does fly when you're having fun and giving away prize money to nerds.
Let's get it on.
Round 1. Fight.
In the bottom left side, we are looking at the main base of our French Zerg. Yes, believe it or not, he is the French Zerg today, representing Team Liquid, our reigning world champ, Liquid Clem. You know.
Liquid Clem.
That guy. In the top left side of Amphion, we are looking at the main base of our Italian Stallion, a previous world champ of the year 2021, if I recall that correctly. This is BASILISK Reynor. And of course, the runner-up of the World Championships in 2019. The runner-up of the World Championships in 2022. 3 years in a row. This man made it to the grand finals of the biggest and most prestigious Starcraft tournament of the year. I still think that is something that is a little bit underrated. And he does not get enough props and love for that. Who the fuck am I a raider from? Well, first yourself, Coco. But then I had to go offline for a little bit. And then you became a raider of Uthermal. Yeah, so yesterday, guys, I moved everything around. This is something I've wanted to do for a long time. I am not even in my perfect spot yet. This was just temporary, see if everything works, see if I'm happy to begin with. Like the TV is not mounted on the wall now, it's just standing on feet. But the first thing that I noticed yesterday, I was like, man, the lighting is so much better here. And obviously during the day, there can be a bit too much light coming in if the blinds are up. But at night, and you guys will see that in like 2.5, 3 hours, my camera looks fire. Like it's actually a significant upgrade, even though I didn't get any new equipment. So I'm very, very excited for that. And well, we have many more hopes and dreams. But let's talk a little bit about this first game. As Clem has opened up with a pool and a gas very early, he's going to take the second gas as well. When I asked Clem, because Reynor said he wanted to play Clem in reverse race, I didn't think that Clem was very eager. Clem said, ha ha ha, sure, we can do it, but I'm probably haha, I'm gonna get smoked. I was like, okay, so you don't want to? He's like, no, it's totally fine. We can do it. I've got a couple days to cook up something special. And there is a good chance that Clem has a whole bunch of pretty gnarly builds. Because I think Clem knows that Reynor is a bit more experienced with Terran. If nothing happens, if he just lets Reynor macro freely, it is probably gonna go Reynor's way. But Clem had a few days to come up with creative openings. And look at this opening for Liquid Clem. Kills a couple of the Marines, kills an SCV as well with just a few Zerglings. Pretty good. Nice little delay as well in the command center. Reaper had to go all the way back home. Reynor, don't lose another SCV. He won't. Strong start here though by Clem. That was close. I think if you're Clem, you're pretty happy with this start. This is not the headline, mate, because they're playing as reverse race. That was the agreement. They will do that throughout the entire best of 5. But there's also a reason why I made it the first match rather than the third or the fourth. It's just because I want some love and focus on the other guys. I don't want it to always be only about the very best. There is enough love and limelight on Reynor and Clem. And I think it's great as well that these guys can maybe help a little bit and showcase the other players that are playing tonight. It is on purpose. I've always tried to make the Big Brain Bouts a bit about the community, not only about the very best players out there. So it is obviously on purpose. It's not because I think that these guys are low level with their offerings. I know they're not. The Reaper gets a sacrifice in the main. What did Reynor see there? He did see that the lair started, guys. He did see that the lair was fired up. Overall, I don't think Reynor is maybe mega happy with this start. Probably a tiny bit annoyed. Not expecting the opening, taking some damage. Almost feels that Clem has something in mind among the lines of stuff that Reynor did against him. With a lot of Queens, Drop Lords and Links early on. Clem shows up in the natural and Reynor only has 2 Hellions here. 2 Hellions. I mean, maybe with perfect micro can win that, but without any additional firepower it is pretty hard. Clem is actually playing really good so far and proper annoying. All that Reynor wants to do, guys, is make it to the bottom side of the map, but every single time he's moving out there are more Zerglings streaming in. This is bad for Reynor. This is proper bad for Reynor as all the Zerglings of Clem are here. Reynor is medevac on the other side of the map, has to turn around. So much, just lost everything. Lost mining time, we're losing SCBs, we're losing firepower, we're losing a lot of momentum. And Liquid Clem is showing us you can make a couple Zerglings at quote unquote the wrong moment, but still make them count. It's all looking pretty good. Sorry, my game sounds were a bit too quiet. It's fixed now, I think. I think they're both over. Well, Clem's Zerg maybe is around 6k, but that's also without him really trying, and he has tried for this for a couple days. Reynor's Terran is definitely above 6k. Like, Reynor's Terran is very, very good. But of course, like many other pro gamers, they are very good if they can just execute a build. If they can be the aggressor, if they can multitask, be out on the map. If you can disrupt that flow a little, that's maybe where the lack of experience can start hurting the off race a little. Well, since Reynor is in the game, mate, I'm pretty certain he's got the replay. I don't think he really needs me for that. Reynor has got 3 barracks, 1 factory, 1 starport at the moment of 2 orbitals. Clem is just working with Link Bane, but he does have double evolution chambers, so he can start working with 2 upgrades at a time. Has created a 15 worker lead for himself, and he's really not that far behind when it comes to upgrades. This start has absolutely worked out so far for Clem, but there are still some terrifying pushes that Reynor can make if the marine count goes up, if he gets a few more tanks out. Clem taking multiple expense is really smart, so he could sacrifice one of the hatcheries and still get his hands on the other. Because this is the show match, Vulpes. This is what they have agreed upon. I can also guarantee you that Reynor would have never ever wanted to play today with regular Zerg. Reynor is kind of done with this map pool. Reynor is kind of done with this patch. He is waiting for some changes, but he does still enjoy playing his off race a little bit. And that is why we got him here today. Good defense by Clem. It's a lot of ladies, guys. 9 ladies in total. Gunning down one of these medevacs. Yeah, a while ago Reynor indeed got the best of Clem, but Reynor has played a lot of League. And Clem was eager. Clem was eager to cook up something magical within a couple of days. Like, Clem's working out is ridiculous, by the way. Like, Reynor is just gonna focus on the attack right here, and it almost feels to me that Reynor kind of wants to kill Clem, even if he's got a 3rd orbital on the way. Meanwhile, Clem is counter-attacking with a couple of banelings. What will Reynor do? Does he send any units home? Doesn't look like it. So Reynor is almost giving up altogether on any sort of macro, any sort of economy. Oh my god, Reynor can mine out these minerals. These minerals are still here, so this push is gonna be very, very slow. Clem is not too far off. +1 carapace and obviously +1 melee is going to finish up in the near future as well. So Arclings are on movement here a little bit. This is where Clem really just needs to start spending his money. If Clem would spend his money right now and crush this push from Reynor, he's in an absolutely amazing spot. But Reynor is here, can micro marines like the very best of them. And the tanks are in a very good spot. Queen's just going for the medevacs there for a split second. So much energy on these ladies, guys. So much energy on these ladies. Clem even taking this base already at 3 o'clock. As Hive is halfway done. This is bad for Reynor. Reynor just did not get done what he is looking for. Reynor really has had not had any sort of momentum, honestly, since the very beginning of this game. Every single time when Reynor planned some sort of a move out, planned to get something done on the other side of the map, Clem was there to disrupt his attack, disrupt the flow of whatever he was trying to make. And at this point, the game is looking very, very grim for Reynor, but it's not over yet. Clem could obviously make a bad attack. With just 2 tanks, yeah, I don't think Reynor quite has enough firepower. He needs to gun down the banelings, doesn't quite do it, and that means that Clem will open these doors once more, get the tanks immediately. Should be able to get the eBay. He's going to grab more than a handful of SCVs. And all that Reynor has left is this attack, but it's so slow. It is just so freaking slow. In your natural, Lings and Banes are dancing. As you lose your whole expansion. Almost. Not quite. The Liberators are going to make this a tiny bit more complicated for Clem to clean this up, but Clem just needs to kind of take care of the Marines, and once he's done that, it's okay. He will never die to just a couple lives. He will never die to just a few tanks. There are Vipers on the way. Reynor's supply blocks, so he can't even really build any additional units. 35 Marines, 4 tanks, 2 Liberators. Well, it'd be a miracle. It'd be an absolute miracle if the Italian Stallion can get the job done here with his Terran. The Vipers are out. They will abduct the Lips. And Reynor knows. Now this is not going to be as easy as some of those reverse matches he had a while ago. I love how Clem is dropping a casual Hydralist then. 11 minutes in, 76 drones, 6 bases. Reynor down to 28 SCVs, and Clem is like, you know what I need? A Hydralist then. How were your games today, Coco? Did you put some nerds in their place? Was it all Starcraft, or did you show off that Lady Geist a little as well? You cooked in deadlock? We'll take that. I think this is Reynor's final army, guys. 29 workers really makes it almost impossible to recover if you end up losing these tanks, end up losing the medevacs. Clem is taking his sweet time with all his spellcasters. Here come the Vipers. A Parabomb! It's doing a lot of damage. Oh, Reynor does not unload, and I think that will do it. Reynor has to know that he is not just in trouble, but he is Omega dead. All that he's got left is a few Marines with +1. Reynor is fighting 2-2 Zerglings and Banelings, guys. It's actually insane. You don't see this very often. +1 attack for the Terran and 2-2 for the Zerg. Clem could literally make any unit he could dream of right now and be fine. He could start going slow roaches, and I think he'd have a great time. Battle cruisers, they'd get it done too. Reynor knows he's gonna have to clean it up a little bit, have to be a little more wary of the openings of Clem. Yes. Clem really has put in some work with his Zerg. Came in with a plan and he executed it close to perfection. Here come the Banelings. The Marines will get wiped out, and it's the reigning world champ who takes the 1-0 lead with his Zerg. Opening up with that pool into gas, or gas into pool, 17 gas, 16 pool. Later expand quicker Zerglings, and even the first 4 to 6 links were so useful already. Every time Reynor moved out, Clem was there. Kind of like giving him a taste of his own recipe, huh? It's like, I remember all those run-bys that you've annoyed me with. Now it's my turn. It's the best of 5, yes. The winner gets 60 buckies, the loser gets 15, but obviously for these two, it's not so much about the money. It's more about pride, honor, bragging rights, banter with a friend. That's for them, I think, more important. Thank you, Lino. Obviously not done, guys. Literally yesterday, I just moved everything over. And it's a lot more work than what you probably think it is. Because I had to move everything away, had to unmount everything from my old desk, put everything on the new desk. Obviously, move kitchen tables. We also got a new shelf in the kitchen. That is mega. Because my kitchen was giving me a little bit of an anxiety attack. There was just too much stuff standing on this little island. And impossible to clean up. Every time you look at it, it looked messy. Now there's a nice little shelf that has all the bottles on it. So much more space. I'm very happy. Yesterday was a long day, but it was, I think, productive. And hopefully we'll make many new beautiful memories in this corner.
Round 2, fight!
In the bottom right side of side, a Delta taking the 1-0 lead with his Zerg. It's our reigning world champ, Liquid Clem, aka Team Liquid's Clem. I say Liquid Clem so often that I don't even know how to say Clem anymore. Like, it's Clem, right? It's like, no. What? Clem? I'm pretty sure this Clem is like... Okay. Siri, tell me, how do I pronounce this?
Liquid Clam.
Got it. Okay. Top left side of site Delta. We are looking at the main base of the world champ of the year 2021, the Italian stallion representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. Who is Clem? I don't know this Clem. And now notice they are switching races, yes. For this entire best of 5, Clem is going to be the Zerg and Reynor is going to be the Terran. And I can guarantee you guys this is the only way that we get Reynor in the Big Brain Bouts at the moment. But I do believe that new patches on the horizon, new maps are coming. And once that is all here, I am sure that you guys will see Reynor plenty of times. Big tournaments, small tournaments. He'll be there, but at this point, our boy is just a little burned out playing Zerg on this map pool and this patch. Reynor is a League Pro. I think Reynor would love to be a League Pro. I like to tease him a little about always being dead in League and how his screen is always gray, but I believe Reynor is actually kind of good in League. But it's very difficult, I think, in those games and in those scenes to make that jump from kind of good to being the best, to being on a real team. And I think those games that you play with a real team are very, very different than solo queue as well. At least if I think back of the days where I played Han pretty competitively and actually 1 month won the, let's say, the Go for Han version of that game. It was $500. It's not a lot, but for Han back then that was a lot of prize money. So all the top teams were playing in it. I did pretty good in like solo queue on the ladder. I was among like the highest 25-30 people. Playing in a 5v5 tournament like that, those games were a night and day difference. Honestly, can't even compare it. The teamwork, the coordination, the map movement, it just almost turns it into a brand new game. And I don't know if Reynor has like a lot of experience of playing like real 5v5s games of League. I know that he's very good with just 5 individuals, and if you have him on your team, you're probably pretty happy. I don't know if Reynor has really played a lot of official matches. Couple grenades land on the Queen. Queen gets bounced out of position, but it is still here. Clem this time has gone hedge first. Did not go for another cheeky early pull. It is, however, still 2 bases for Clem. Maybe the fact that Reynor opened up with 2 barracks has caught him off guard a little bit. Now has a hatchery here that I didn't see. I know that Reynor played in like the Italian streamer influencer tournament once, and I believe there's another version of that. But I still don't think that you can even compare something like that to real League competitive play. Like just playing with a bunch of friends or playing with a bunch of fellow influencers, some good, some bad. It's just not the same, right? Because some of these people are going to be way weaker than others. So as a top player, you can farm whoever is the weakest in the game a few times. You can get lucky with your lane setup. If you're playing a real official League game between, let's say, 2 teams that are in the top 40, top 50, everything is mapped out. The teamwork is perfect, like clockwork. Just can't compare it. Elige is indeed a man who used to play Starcraft, then became one of the best Counter-Strike players in the world for a long time. Was on Team Liquid. I don't know anything about CS. I mean, I believe that many Starcraft 2 players could transition into different games and be successful. But A, it's going to take a very long time. B, it takes a lot of hard work. And C, I think in team games you need a tiny bit of luck. Because I believe it doesn't matter how good you are, if you just can't quite find the right people to play with, you can't do it by yourself. And that will absolutely go for Reynor too. Even if Reynor is exceptionally good in League, if no one wants to give him a shot, there's not much he can do, right? He would truly have to be by far and away the best player in the world, but that's maybe a bit of a stretch. I don't think our boy is quite there yet. Show into Hearthstone. There are many examples. There was a American Terran player once called Xenocider, and he actually he just won like 3rd place at the Esports World Cup for Teamfight Tactics. He got like $35,000 or $40,000 for that. So there are many people who used to be good in one video game, or Starcraft in particular, and went to different games and became great in Dayston. Yep. He has changed his name, but Li Baoxiang took 3rd place at the Esports World Cup in Teamfight Tactics. Hello, Drogo. Yeah, Paul was very high ranked in that game. Maybe you should have kept playing. If you would have only known about that Esports World Cup. Reynor leading the charge here, guys, with a couple of Reapers. Maybe he feels that the time of the Reaper is over. As a few drones are falling to a cloak Banshee. Clem didn't have any detection yet. Clem off. Reynor obviously going for a quick starport of 2 bases, not going for the regular factory into 3rd command center then starport. So these Banshees showed up a little bit earlier than Clem anticipated. And that's actually very good damage. For the first time in this best of 5, Reynor with his Terran got some good work done. Clem has morphed a lot of banelings. What is it? I don't. This is a bit of an odd spot to morph all these banelings. Reynor is going to find them. Will stim. For a split second there, it looked like Reynor did not pay attention. I think there are also many stories about players that were never like big enough in Starcraft that they were noticeable names, but I am certain that a lot of people who turned out to be fantastic League players, Dota players, had their start in Starcraft. I believe the same went for Yellow Star back then. I think that's his name. A legend in the League of Legends community, especially in the French community. He also started, I think in Warcraft 3, but I'm sure he played some Starcraft too. YOLO Star. Clem is up 8 workers and Clem's got 4 bases, so I don't think he's dead, but this is obviously not really gone perfect for him yet. Reynor now trying to find some value with 2 medevacs at the 3 o'clock position. 2 medevacs over here at the bottom is going to activate the boost, go straight into the main. We've got a queen, we've got a spore. That's not necessarily enough for Clem. Clem is going to need a little bit more. Clem does have enough Zerglings out to take care of it. Overall, I feel like Clem is playing good here, guys, with his Zerg. He's got 1 upgrades, he's up 10 workers, he's on 4 bases. Kind of feels that Clem is getting everything done rather quickly, wherever he wants to go. It seems like it doesn't really take him a very long time, and for Reynor it all feels like it's a little bit slower today. Maybe in Reynor's mind, his Terran was just going to have a field day and he'd be cooking. But even if Clem is not a Zerg by origin, he's obviously always going to be very quick. And you give him a couple days to get ready, he's going to be pretty good. Medevac full of Marines gets sniped. The second Medevac gets sniped as well. Ay caramba, Reynor. And at the same time, Clem thinks he can find something with Lynx Veins and Hydras off creep. Turns out that that's a little more difficult. The snipes on the Medevacs were awesome. Losing all these units here off creep for very little is less awesome. Boxer became a pro poker player, right? With poker, I do think that there is always a reason to go for little asterisks. Because a lot of people that if they are famous for something, it is so easy to get like a sponsorship. You become an ambassador of XYZ. You get all these buy-ins for free, and then all of a sudden you're a poker pro. Well, I don't think that's quite the same as the kid who started with $100 and grinded his way through the ranks and played millions of hands of poker. So it is hard for me to say how real the stories are of some people that were known for something and then transition into poker if they're actually legit pros or not. What we do know is that Reynor, his Marines, are having a pretty good time here dealing with these Zerglings. Clem, his Hydras and Queens are nearby, and that is enough range damage to push these Marines away for now. Yeah, Kirikaki was legit because he did it without any sponsorships, without any events, without getting any freebies. Like, I won't throw anybody under the bus, but a while ago I was following somebody who's like, I'm doing a $10,000 challenge, going from $100 to 10k. And then they get all these free buy-ins for big events. And in one big event where they got a free entry, they end up winning 8,700 or something. It's like, I did it within 2 months from 0 to 10k. It's like, that's so unfair. Because normal people wouldn't get entry into these tournaments that you're getting entry to. So it's very, very deceiving. I take a lot of those accomplishments and titles with a grain of salt. But there are a lot of people who did it the old school fashioned way, just pure hard work. And they can truly go full Drake and say that they did it by themselves. That is a grinder. He'll get there. Was it Elky? No, of course not. Elky is a legend, man. Elky is a self-made legend in poker. He was the first guy ever to get the Supernova Elite status on PokerStars, which was a very big deal. That's basically the first boom that poker has ever had. And Elky brought that Starcraft work ethic to poker and played more hands than anybody ever did. Clem is attacking here with Lings and Bangs, one of the Wintermines fires, but doesn't quite get a good connection. Kinda love how Reynor is splitting up his army. Definitely solid late game here so far by Reynor. Beautiful army control, nice positioning. Clem has burrowed a lot of Zerg, made a couple of Banelings, on-burrows them and pushes these Marines and Marauders. Didn't quite have the numbers to really win that, but still cute little move there. Huh. Reynor is gonna have to build some ghosts, which is something I don't think that he is unhappy with. Reynor is a big fan of the ghost, and I'm certain he's good with it, but this is now going to become a very different game. They've had some games in the past where Reynor could just spam Marines and Widow Mines, have a good time, cover the entire map in mines, and make it impossible for Clem, his Zerglings and Banelings to go anywhere. Absolutely not the case today, guys. Clem is a gamer. Hydras and Lurkers get on top of this base at 9 o'clock. The tanks will fall. A lot of SCVs will fall. This planetary is going to take damage. At the same time, Reynor is attacking, but this is mostly pure bio. No ghosts, no lips, no tanks. It's unlikely that this is going to get too much done. Reynor, his ghosts have shown up defensively though and have taken care of all those Lurkers. This actually cannot be saved on the side of Clem. So, Clem found a couple of little victories. I feel like Reynor's finding the bigger ones here. So we might see a Mixu Battlebee rematch this week. You can always get some Mixu Battlebee later this month. I don't think that Battlebee was available this Friday. I reached out to him and he said thank you, but unfortunately I can't play. Maybe next week. They always hit me with the maybe next week, so that's good. They do want to, guys. No. What is the Hydra trap here, guys, by Clem? What does Clem know that we don't know? I was looking at this. I was like, what am I looking at? What unit is this? Do I have a graphics bug or something? Like, looks so strange now in the side blocker. This is a very casual Hydra hiding in the side blocker. Nice hold position there, but there are so many more Widow Mines, and Clem's is sending it once again on top of all these ghosts. He gets a lot of the ghosts. No, not perfect micro this time around by Reynor. There's still so many Lings and Banes in the mix, and even a drone. Will Clem build an accidental hatchery over here? I mean, Reynor does still have Marines, Ghosts, Marauders left. He's okay. There's a couple of the Lurkers here, though. I hope that Reynor is aware of it. Losing 21 SCVs is pretty painful. Like, Reynor is entering the late game, but he's not quite in the ultimate late game TVZ scenario yet. How many orbitals do we have? 4, one more command center. And it's a bit too early to be bleeding out that many SCVs. Our flanking Hydra is still here though. Clem might see it. As Clem gets on top, the command center cancels the more for the upgrade into a planetary fortress and burrows a Zergling underneath immediately. Lovely tiny little play there. Annoying for Reynor to deal with, because now you need to bring your units over, you need to scan. And obviously Clem is going to show up again, and he's going to try to do that a few more times. Honestly, this is the French Hydra. The Hydra is just on strike, guys. Refuses to work. As Clem is not a kid who has ever refused to work. Maybe he believes a little bit too much here in the firepower of a couple of Hydras, but Reynor left with his medevacs. In the end, who is flanking who is surrounding who? A lot of units went down there, but in the end, some of the original battle forces of Reynor survived all of that. And since a lot of the medevacs survived too, I'm gonna say that that was an okay-ish fight for Reynor. We take a look at the units lost resource tab. Wow, it's already closing in on 10k, that's a lot. Sure, Clem has been richer, Clem has been mining more than Reynor. But a 10,000 units lost resource difference in a 17-minute game? It's pretty extreme. Hey, the Hydra's moved. I think this was it. Yeah, of course! Unbelievable. This Hydra was literally me in high school, guys, during every single group project. You guys got this, right? I'm here, emotional support. Wake me up when you need me. Widow Mines get a couple of very nice shots up on the Zerglings, but there are still Hydras and Banelings left over. However, not that many, and the reinforcements have arrived for the Italian Stallion. Reynor is just taking absolutely magnificent trades here. And where that first game I don't think was very enjoyable for Reynor, the second one here absolutely is, as he's just getting beautiful trades. I was a bit worried in the beginning. Kind of felt that Clem was growing a little bit quicker and Reynor wasn't quite transitioning as quickly as he would have liked to or perhaps needed to. But in the end, Reynor found time to drop that Ghost Academy, get a couple of ghosts out, stabilize on 4 bases. And he's been winning every fight for a little while. This is not a fight he can win against this many Lorcas, but freeing up some supply guys for more ghosts, more liberators. Probably not the worst thing in the world for the Italian. I splashed into my own face. Couple of the defensive tanks there by Reynor got surrounded by the Zerglings and Lurkers, so they got picked off. Medevac count seems high, 11. But one Infestor on the map. Love a cheeky Viper, guys. Couple Vipers on the side of Clem just to spam parabombs or a random adopt here and there, but mostly parabombs. Every time I see a Terran walk around with an army that has like 8 or more medevacs, I want parabombs. It's not really on me, guys, it's on Twitch. The Twitch servers are just a little bit inconsistent sometimes, and then I drop a couple frames. My internet is perfect everywhere else. There's not much I can do. I've selected so many different servers. I tried Amsterdam 2, Amsterdam 3. I tried Copenhagen, Frankfurt, London. Most of the time it will stabilize out throughout the night, but in the first hour and a half, 2 hours, you just seem to drop a couple frames here and there. And there's really nothing I can do about it. Looks like there is nothing that Reynor can really do about Clem getting that planetary. That's a pretty solid pickoff by Clem, but Reynor is still gonna try to punish this army being here. We've got Lurkers and Hydras now being fully surrounded by ghosts everywhere we look. Ghosts, snipe, pew, 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 pew. Can Clem at least get a couple of these ghosts? Doesn't really look like it. So you get the planetary, but you have to ask yourself to cast the question. At what cost? Oh my god, these numbers are ridiculous. Dana White.
That's fucking illegal.
I agree. An 18,000 resource difference in 20 minutes. Reynor living out his best dream. Now Reynor getting a little bit careless. This is the first time that Reynor does actually end up losing a lot of these ghosts. Up to this point, he did such a good job at keeping them alive. That was a little bit painful. Reynor obviously does need to be careful, because even though he got that entire army, he did lose the planetary. These units just don't die, do they? Starting to look like an Abrams with maximum lifesteal, just punching you into the face. Just nothing happens. Now Reynor's medevacs are actually just kind of stuck. A lot of them are empty, 2 of them have cargo. Oh, if only, guys, if only Clem would have just been able to sneak out a couple Vipers. Just 1 or 2. Hey, this Hydra, by the way, guys, low-key MVP. In the beginning of the game, it was a great scout. Here it is, single-handedly denying the base. It's been the most useful Hydra that I've seen in a while. Couple Widow Mines left behind as the units lost difference is still 16k. Those are pretty silly numbers. Reynor, his base here is not a planetary yet. Perhaps he doesn't even want it to be one, but he is going to upgrade it now. Actually kind of becoming neighbors at this point, since this is obviously an important base for Clem in the top right. Yeah, it looks so silly. It suddenly looks like it's a two-dimensional Hydra. Couple scans getting dropped here on the side of Reynor as he's trying to push back the creep a little bit, but there's just so much creep. Clem is gonna send it. Widow Mines are going to connect obviously with the Zerglings. Sometimes they end up dealing a lot of friendly fire as well, but not this time. Actually seemed that Reynor had a pretty good read on how that fight was going to play out. Clem is going to be forced to evacuate the top right, and that is obviously incredibly problematic for our French Zerg, who is a down 30 supply. Still has a lot of bases, and his creep spread is honestly pretty magical. Because it's not like Reynor hasn't tried anything. It's not like Reynor hasn't tried to slow it down. Yeah, we don't have a Reynor glance. That's, you need a big loss, I think, on the side of Clem. He should have it. He doesn't. And this orbital is going to fall, though, with this many Hydras. A Fungo is going to connect on a couple of these Ghosts and Marauders. That's actually pretty big. But Reynor's got so many more units coming in from the bottom. He's going to burrow a few Widow Mines on top of this Zerg army as well. And the Ghost will reign supreme. The minimap says Clem, but I think we all know that this game is gonna go Reynor's way. Ridiculously good trades. Sure, he's maybe lost like 20 something, 26 Ghosts at this point. The trades have just been magnificent. Clem losing 800 Zerglings, 66 Hydra, 16 Lurkers, couple Queens, couple Infestors, and a few bases. I think Clem was okay with playing a bit of a reckless start, because I think Clem knows that it is very difficult to play in the late game if the Terran player ends up with a crazy high ghost count, bunch of circles, whether it's Liberators, Sense of Powers. This all makes it very hard. So it definitely was Clem's idea, Clem's game plan, to just get rich and then send it. And keep on sending it and hope it would go your way. He definitely got something done a few times. Kudos to Reynor for keeping those ghosts alive when it looked scary, when it looked a bit dicey. Only Reynor had played Terran in Riyadh. Reynor's Terran is very good. I don't think it is that good. I believe that his Zerg was the best shot our boy had. It is always fun when we get ready for a Friday night and the first series is going to be all tied up after 2 games. That is what we aim for in the Big Brain Bouts. Fun, close, competitive Starcraft. Sometimes serious, sometimes a bit community focused. Sometimes for banter and bragging rights. And that's mostly what it is when these two are playing reverse race against each other. Not the Hydra. Please not. Clem, show mercy. Even if this game does not go your way, let this Hydra make the end of it. Nice Fungo on the side of Clem. We have a couple of Banings, if only we had a few more. Actually, a god tier Fungo there. We just kind of lack that follow-up firepower. It's a real shame that we didn't have 10 more Banes and a couple Vipers. About as juicy of a Fungo as you are going to get. But it is not going to be enough. At least not now. Reynor obviously does need to be careful because he doesn't really have any ghosts remaining, and the few lurkers that Clem still has, they can actually become a little bit problematic. So Reynor is taking out the bottom left, but Clem is starting to get very, very close to getting this center base. That would be massive. Reynor throws down the scan. He's pulling a Benny. I don't know if he should ever pull a Benny. There's a reason why that boy is playing shift. And his Great Talon is very, very weak, by the way. You cannot stim into lurkers that are burrowed with just Marines and Marauders. And obviously Reynor should know that. Sick by Clem. Clem with that Fungo, guys, actually put a lot of pressure on the Ghost, and for a split second Reynor was down to 0 Ghost. Reynor is back to 4 now. Obviously Clem is really working with the absolute final pennies that he has. Reynor still has orbitals that can fly, so I still think it's gonna go Reynor's way, but kudos to Clem, who just kind of found a second life in this game. He is starting to get on top of the orbitals, is looking for a Zergling run by, but Reynor did a very good job in keeping the doors closed. Personal cloaking should be used here, and it will be used. A couple of Marines still being dropped. It is really fun to watch these guys just do what they know the other guy is very good at with their main race. Yeah, Reynor killed the bottom left side base. Didn't kill the Hydra though, thank the Lord. One lurker is burrowed behind this planetary at the 12 o'clock position. Clem has lost a lot of his map vision. Unburrowed Hydra. This would have been sick if that Hydra would have just unburrowed, killed the medevac, and then burrowed back. That would have made me so happy, guys. That would have actually made me so happy. Clem is moving his Shark Infestor. We had a god tier fungal earlier. He's making 14 banelings. Clem is looking for another fungal like that, but Reynor, his spidey senses, they went off. Reynor drops the scan, kills it immediately. Ay caramba. It is unfortunate for Clem because a single fungal there really could have been a decider. Instead, he's just gonna send it. He's not really respecting this army of Reynor. Is he right? Our Hydra's this good. Is Clem showing us that it's all about the Hydra, the mean killing machine? Or is the Terran army just a little too powerful? It's close battle in the end. It went, I think, slightly better for Reynor. But if Clem can get this orbital, he's going to be more than happy. Still a couple of lurkers remaining. Reynor has to be mega cautious. Clem is making this incredibly hard. This is one medevac is still being a proper nuisance in the bottom left side. What a sick game, guys. Look at the supply. Not often do you see a 28-minute game between these two races, and there is so much action, and they both are nowhere near maxing out. And it's still Reynor has traded like 19k more efficiently. Clem has been mining that much more. You say Clem needs casters? Clem doesn't really have any spellcasters at the moment, but Reynor obviously also needs something that is legitimately good against the lurkers, even if it's only 3 or 4. If the ghost cannot do their thing, then these lurkers are as much of a problem as well upgraded Marines and Marauders are. 28-minute game. Reverse race between these two. The entire best of 5 will be reverse race. It looked like it was Reynor's game, and I still want to say that I think it's Reynor's game because the Zerg that is nowhere near maxed out, has no bank, and is low on drones should never win. But Clem is really working with that never say die attitude today. And he just keeps on finding little pickups here and there. And he keeps on giving himself more and more reasons, not just to be in this game, but maybe even believe that it can go his way. Medevac is mega low. Hydras! Ugh. No Hydra. Wait! Oh! Was that the sleeping Hydra? I don't know where that Hydra came from. But the Hydra sniped the medevac, and that Hydra is now gonna morph into a lurker. Reynor with his biggest army, and obviously the most important army that he's got left, are really trying to get his hands on this base in the bottom left. This is not where Reynor is supposed to burrow this orbital, or land this orbital rather. Reynor is so paranoid about burrowed units that he mislanded and he scanned. There was nothing there. There was nothing there, but Reynor still landed it next to the spot where units normally burrow. Ghosts are a bit exposed, by the way, in the front. One infestor coming in from the top right. Clem with the fungal. Can the Hydras, Lynx, and Lurkers wipe the floor with his Terran army one last time? Is it actually happening? Wow. Man, Clem is such a warrior. I don't know how he's doing it. He is such a warrior. He's been a 40 drone Zerg for the last 12 minutes. And obviously he was mega rich before, and Reynor is poor too. I guess 40 drones is better than like 20 something SCVs that are not really mining. Most of the base not mining. This is an orbital, not a planetary. Reynor is forced to pull the SCVs. The Hydras are the ultimate mean killing machine in this game. After 30 minutes, it's the reigning world champ Clem. That is insane. He lost over 20,000 resources more than his opponent a while ago. But after 30 minutes, a couple sick fungals, and the power of the Hydra, it is Clem who takes the 2-0 lead. Damn. That's sick. The fungals. Couple fungals. Reducing the ghost count all the way back to 0, to 4, to 2. No Vipers, no sick power bombs, but just a crazy amount of Hydras, guys. Power of the Hydra, baby. Ay caramba. I don't think that Reynor expected to lose that game. I definitely did not think he was going to lose it at one point. It looked really good. The minimap looked great. Clem was down like 30-40 supply. I had no more money. I was losing bases. Actually insane. Look at this army value, guys. This is such a big difference. Clem had a 4k army value, as Reynor was at 9,400. That's insane. And obviously this is where we landed a big fungal, and the lurkers did their thing. Couple banelings did their thing. Ay, ay, ay. What was Clem's APM that game? I didn't check. But honestly, mate, I recommend to all of you guys to completely ignore APM numbers in StarCraft 2. The way that the game records and the way that people play the game at a high level with their low repeat rates and rapid fire, APM is completely irrelevant. There are people that are incredibly quick and they're going to show up at like 220. And then you have people who are really not that quick and they're going to have 380 APM. Like, these numbers, they don't mean anything. I bet it was over 100. Haha, look at Clem. Our world champ is becoming a bit sassy by saying Reynor is in the replay. And Clayma says he's learning from the best Zerg out there. Ay caramba. Liquid Clem. One map away, guys, from winning the reverse race best of 5. One that Reynor was favored in the past. Reynor's had a great time spamming some Widow Mines and Marines in the past when Clem didn't really know what he was doing yet. It's not over yet. Game 3 is on Ghost River. Ghost River is obviously a map that could be excellent for Terrans, and I think Reynor will be strong on this map. Don't forget that Reynor was competitive in that previous game, and it looked like he was winning, so this series ain't over yet. Okay, so can you explain how you rotated the furnitures? Alright, so yesterday, it started off, basically my desk was there, underneath that white painting, next to that shelf. So my desk was here. Then we moved my gaming chair into the kitchen. Then I moved the 4 dining chairs into the kitchen. Then I moved the kitchen table to the side. I rotated the desk, or I moved the TV stand thingy that was here, the TV furniture thing, from this side to that side. Unmounted the TV from this side to that side. Couch 180. Grab everything, my PC, monitors, microphone, cables, move it from that desk into the Neil desk that was built on the side that we slid into here. And yeah, your entire day is gone, but then you've basically done it. A proper 180, man. A proper 180. But I'm happy with how it came out. And we are not done yet. I'm going to try to make it prettier, better, more comfy. But overall, I'm very happy with it. That is correct, David. Where basically my desk used to be there. And then you guys would see this part. And this is basically where I'm sitting now, is where my TV used to hang. And then right here is the door to the backyard. And my swimming pool, my private padel place, and the jacuzzi. But I think it's barely out of sight, so you guys can't see that. But life is good over here in Zuidland. Round 3.
Round 3.
Fight.
Top right side, guys, of Ghost River. He is down 0-2. But this is one of the best Terran maps that we have ever seen in this specific matchup. And I am sure that he does not want to lose this one. He's going to do his absolute best to turn it around. The Italian stallion, Reynor. That's on the other side of the living room, Dajé Master. You know, there's a lot of space, mate. Kappa. Top left side of Ghost River. We are looking at the main base of our French Terran, now playing as Zerg, your reigning world champ, showing us that it's not just Terran that he's good with. He's good with everything. This will honestly be a great victory for him if he can get it done. He was the underdog. He's up 2-0. Liquid Clem. Reynor was winning, so there's a lot to still be hopeful of for Reynor. Like, those trades were not just favorable for Reynor. That was insane. Like a 19,000 difference. What was that? Minute 18, 19, 20, whatever it was. Those are pretty much unprecedented numbers. Obviously, when you can still don't win, you can also say that that's problematic, right? Because that's as good as it's going to get. But Ghost River is very different. Will play out in a different way than Side Delta. You know, maybe Foxer was onto something. TVZ, it's just rough. You don't want to be a Terran on site, so perhaps Ghost River is all that Reynor needs to claw his way back into this series. Reynor is the Terran. Clem is the Zerg. Ay caramba. For what? Where's my boy Lambo? Ay caramba. Apparently Reynor, his Reaper, has killed a drone, so that's obviously pretty good. Clem has snuck a couple of Zerglings to the other side of the map, but the Reaper dies. Ay ay. It's alright. Command center is done. That's the best part. So Reynor is gonna be temporarily slightly oversaturated in his main. Does not want to expose his SUVs on the low ground. We will get less Vicky sightings with this setup. That is correct, and that was also one of the reasons. Obviously, Vicky should be able to go from her bedroom or her workroom to the kitchen, make food without having to be on the camera. Things that I used to not have to worry about, but so in that way this works out a little bit. What is Clem's MMR on Zerg? I think Clem said he peaked at like 5.9, but I also think it's fair to say that the more that Clem would play with Zerg, the higher it would get. 5.9 is not his hard peak. I don't think there is anybody out there that believes Clem cannot possibly ever get 6k or higher with his Zerg. And I think at the moment, probably already above 6k. He's played well so far today. A little bit different, but I think he played incredibly well. Caramba is the new buzzword after Joe Over. I don't think there's really many people out there that are saying ay caramba. As I shared the story before, I just saw that it's Lambo's Steam name. And I love it. I think it's very catchy, and now I can't stop saying it. I don't think that Lambo is quite a zoomer. Where is the tree going to go? You mean the Christmas tree? We'll have space for it. We'll find a spot for Christmas tree. I actually have a lot of space between here and the couch. Not a lot, but enough for a tree. So I can have it right here. And then I can hang things in the tree. But I'm gonna have to walk backwards because I can't be bending over and showing you guys my ass. That will be the immediate end of my channel. The world is not ready and the world does not need to see that. So I'll walk backwards very carefully. I do not speak any Spanish, mate. I know a couple words. I know the most important one, and that is vamos. And I'm all about that vamos lifestyle, but that's about it. My man Lino speaks Spanish. I don't. You know, man, subs. But the opposite, mate. I want to keep them. I want to keep them. Clem going up to 4 bases on Ghost River. There isn't really a choice of how you want to expand. There's only one route. Interesting scan there by Reynor. I guess he wanted to see if there was an overseer around, or maybe if Clem was hiding something. In the end, he spots the overseer coming in. He also sees the double evolution chamber set up. I think this is a game where if Reynor wants to go very heavy on the Widow Mines, he could. Kind of feel like he would have a pretty good time with that. Thank you to the Ducks for the Prime. I appreciate it. 1-1 upgrades on the way for both players. And I have the feeling that Clem is going to play this similar to how Cyril played it against Oliveira back then in Dallas in that absolutely amazing series. And we just kind of stay on Ling Bane for a very, very long time. Reynor needs to be careful. Unfortunate misclick. And Clem really is giving Reynor a taste of his own recipe. He's like, solid queen movement, eh? Wonder who taught me that. Reynor is known for, when he's in shape, some of the best queen movement out there. Perhaps it's the best in the early game. Incredibly quick, incredibly good in keeping track of the movement of his opponents. So far today, with his Terran, he's not quite able to make that difference yet. I still think there is hope. I think Ghost River is a phenomenal TVZ map. Reynor looked very good on side Delta for a long time there. Amphion was a little bit different, right? Clem opening up with that pull. And I don't think Reynor ever really got anything going on Amphion. And all the kudos for the opening of Clem, for the execution of Clem. Still can't imagine there won't be a moment where Reynor is actually able to capitalize on some of the leads that he had on side Delta. Perhaps he played it out a tiny bit overconfident, thinking that there was no way that was ever going to go wrong. All that money, all those orbitals, all those ghosts. So. Hive is halfway done on the side of Clem. That's pretty damn quick. And he's got a Hydralisk then as well. So even though he opened up with very early double evo, he's not really using those evos at the moment. He's actually just spamming Hydras and a quick Hive once more. Reynor splitting up his army. There are some queens here in the bottom though, so Reynor has to be very, very cautious. And double drop active in the center, picking up an Overlord, pushing the creep back a little bit. And this is where they are both going to test their multitasking skills of each other once more. Clem is floating a lot. I don't know if he's waiting for Hive to be done. Sets up a Zergling counter, but Reynor has been more than ready for that. This time it's the Italian activating Stim in the bottom, trying to micro his way out of a potential dicey spot. Tiny bit surprised that Clem didn't drop a Ultralisk Cavern. I felt like this could have been a decent moment. By the way, Clem never got a Reynor glance in that previous game, right? He obviously didn't have it. Did he actually just end up winning a 30-minute game? With Adreno? Or without, rather. It's pretty big. It's a classic. Reynor building all the sensor towers over here. He's really gonna go full turtle Terran. Reynor's like, alright, last game, I think I just moved out a few too many times. I battled a bit too much. I gave you a few too many fights that sweet Zerg dreams are made of. Not again. Reynor, honestly, here, very, very toxic. Let's gotta call a spade, guys. 4 sensor towers on site on Ghost River. You literally only need 2. With 2 sensor towers, you already cover your entire side of the map. Reynor gets 4 of them. Very, very toxic. This time, though, Clem is gonna get a Reynor glance. Incredibly early, even. I assume that some of his friends told him that he forgot Adreno there for the longest time. Or maybe the entirety of the game. Clem must try Protoss. He has tried Protoss. He's pretty good with it. Very high ranked. Clem beat Gumio the other day with his Protoss. Final round of the Home Story Cup qualifier. For Gumio, that was actually a big series. For Clem, that honestly felt like entertainment. And Clem, playing with Protoss, defeated Gumio to become the first player to qualify for Home Story Cup 26. 6.5k? It might even be higher than that. This fight is not great, but the burrowed Banelings here, guys. Oh, Clem wants that chase. Clem is like, Reynor. Oh, Reynor throws down the scan. He might make an XD. If Reynor was up 2-0 or if it was 1-1, he'd banter about this. But I don't think Reynor wants to banter right now. Obviously, when you're down 0-2, you don't want to banter too much. It was a best of 3 against Gumio and he won 2-1. Can I beat Gumi with my Protoss? No! If I was capable of beating Gumio, mate, I'd be playing at the Esports World Cup. Gumio is literally one of the best 16 players on this planet. The man just went to Saudi Arabia to play in the Esports World Cup. he makes thousands of dollars playing every single month. No, I cannot beat him. Be very weird if I could. Clem is just that good, man. Clem is an animal. I'd absolutely smoke him in deadlock though. Come on, Gumi. 1v1 mid, blue lane. See you there. Be there or be square, so he'd have nothing on me. There are always people who are like, oh, Roddy, I'm sure you can do it. Clem can do it. It's like, guys, this is a Clem thing, okay? I am not terrible at Starcraft. I cannot casually beat top 16 players in the world with my Protoss. Just because Clem can do it with his off race doesn't mean I can do it. It's not how the world works. Reynor has a couple Banshees being annoying in the bottom left side, as Clem is really trying to mine off this base on Reynor's side of the map. And he's gonna try to fortify this location with Lurkers. I think all that Reynor really needs to do is just build another starport, get some Liberators, and take the game from there. We beat Neep to 0 once? Yes. I absolutely did do that. And sure, I can win once in a blue moon a random game against Gumio, but I would be completely ridiculous. Or I would make a fool out of myself if I sit there and be like, yeah guys, I just like casting, you know. It's just so fun to sit here and teach the masses. But if I was actually serious, boy oh boy, those Koreans, they'd be shaking in their boots for me now. Winning a random game once in a while is obviously not the same as like actually beating him in a home Story Cup qualifier, grand finals. No. I could play Gumio 100 times and I would lose all 100 best of 3s for sure. Clem is just a freak. An absolute animal. Both of them are maxed out. Reynor's got a pretty large bank. He's really not in the business of throwing away anything this game. Needs to be careful here, by the way, with his goals. I think we have personal cloaking. Actually, I don't think we do, because that cloaking here is from the Banshee. Why don't we have a different icon, guys? Who the hell has been so lazy over at Microsoft or Activision or Blizzard? Give us a slightly different cloaking symbol for the ghost, please. Thank you. Thank you to Hazabi as well, or Hazabai, for the 27 months. Reynor really is chilling here. This game is the definition of piss chilling, as Reynor would call it. You get tanks, you get missile turrets, you get sensor towers, and you do nothing. Reynor actually, as much as I'm a fan of the kid, Reynor is being a little bit toxic here, guys. He's like, I will be damned if I let you 3-0 me. It is not going to happen. I'm going to play the most obnoxious turtle Terran style imaginable. And Reynor has built the Great Wall of Milano over here. With planetary sensor towers, planetary tanks, sensor towers, missile turrets, sensor towers, widow mines, ghosts and tanks. And Ghost River. Yeah, I am sure Reynor is giggling, because he knows what he's doing. Reynor knows that what he's doing here is incredibly obnoxious to play against. Reynor is streaming as well, guys. You guys can always take a little look at Reynor, his first person view, RB_Reynor. That is where Reynor is live. He played a little bit of Starcraft before this show match started. I think once the show match is done, though, he's probably going back to League of Legends. But maybe you guys can convince him to do a few more games, as he is going to lose a few Marines here. You guys once more do not have to worry about Reynor playing Starcraft. This is right now, we are the off season. A lot of casters are taking a break, streamers are taking a break, and a lot of professional players are taking a break. Waiting for a new patch, waiting for a new map pool. And Reynor just loves playing League while he is waiting. A few lurkers and the overseers. Well, one of the overseers. Single overseer. One of the many overseers on the map. There we go. Do get picked off. What is Reynor doing here, man? Like, this sensor tower, guys. Is this really necessary? I can live with one or two of them. But this one right here, no. He's got another one right here. This one is not necessary. Exclamation mark perfect in the chat. Reynor, honestly, Omega toxic. I'm gonna send a DM to my boss. Be like, boss, honestly, $10 penalty for Reynor. And every additional sensor tower that he built right now, we should increase that fine. $20 for the second sensor tower. $30 for the third. Until he burns through his prize money. Poor Clem. Clem is incredibly rich. And he is gonna try. We've got some Vipers. The Vipers have abducts. One of the tanks will get picked off. How many planetaries does Reynor have at the moment? He's got 4. He's morphing 2 more. Even if Clem loses, this is a moral win. For who? For Clem? I don't know. I think Clem would actually really love to find a way to win this game. Because he does get the planetary, but Reynor is in no rush. And obviously if Reynor is in no rush, I am not going to be in any rush either. Gulls River is a very simple map, and the playstyle that Reynor is doing here is something that's just not viable on many other maps, because eventually your opponent will take bases that belong to you. They're gonna mine so much more than you that they'll get the best of you. Or it's just easier for a Zerg or a Protoss to attack the Terran. Gulls River is tiny, and obviously it is a 100% split map scenario, where it's almost impossible for a Zerg or a Protoss to take one of these bases. For Protoss, maybe a bit more. Cannons, batteries, and Tempests are great. Zerg just doesn't really have it. The only thing that Clem can try to do is deny this base from coming online over and over again. But at this point, there is still so much money in the bank for Reynor that once more Reynor is in no rush. And even if Clem succeeds in getting a cancel, it's more expensive for Clem to get the cancel than it is for Reynor having to cancel. Thank you to Shaib Labir for the 70 months. Gulls River is the map that has to ask the question, what if we made doing nothing the best play every time? Yeah. I've seen some great games on this map, but I'm gonna say not in this matchup. And then I think back of Sarah against Oliveira and Dallas, and I was like, yes, it also on this map. And this is just another map. On the current meta, and the current skill set and tools that players have, for ZVT is just not a very good map. In the other matchups, I can live with it. I don't think it's fun to play, but it can be kind of fun to watch. Especially PvZ is often pretty action-packed here. This map is not made for TVZ. How many creep 2 wins does it take to crash the game? Hopefully we won't find out. At the moment we've got 138. I'm sure we've seen more than that. Terran obviously has building armor too right now. So toxic. And now he's even building a wall of engineering base. Does Reynor not know that we have a schedule here? I hope nobody's in a rush tonight. We've got 3 more best of 5s after this, guys. The prize money gets bigger throughout the night. That is what the Big Brain Bouts is all about. Some of the ghosts here are a little bit exposed. Clem does find a couple. Clem can't even get close to forcing a fight. And I know sometimes people look for what should the player do in commentary. I've got nothing. If you ask me right now, what do you think Clem should do, Roddy? I don't know. I don't think there really is anything you can do. Can you try with Lurkus and just rush everything in? Like take out these rocks at least. At least take out these rocks and these mineral patches. And then just try to YOLO everything. I think playing it very slow and steady won't do it. I think Broodlords do nothing. Oh my god, Reynor is so mean. Got 11 orbitals and he is spamming scans in the center of the map. You should make a few more turrets. Reynor's got 39 missile turrets and 9 sensor towers. Apparently you don't have to tell Reynor twice that he needs a few more turrets. Oh my goodness. This is what Reynor, his naughty dreams are made of. Just scanning the army of Clem everywhere he goes. Ghost and Planetary is holding down the line. Unfortunately, there is really there's just no opening for Clem. Like, obviously Clem has a lot of money, so you can kind of think about how he wants to spend it. Yeah, maybe eventually your drone count goes lower, your army gets bigger. Take out these rocks, take out the mineral patches, and just force your way in somewhere. But it's always going to be so painful. You will always take omega bad fights. Thursday Night Football was amazing. Go Falcons. I didn't see, actually. I didn't even check my fantasy roster. I hope I didn't make any mistakes. Man, this week just flew by. I kind of felt that it was just Monday and I was casting the Clara Statfest and Roddy Cup. And then I loaded up a couple games of Deadlock and suddenly it was Friday 6 p.m. That's kind of what happened. Went to overtime 30-30. Was it like an actual draw or did one team at least win? No, Swarm hosts are not the play. It's not like Reynor opened up with mech. Reynor had bio. And I think Swarm hosts are incredibly bad against bio. I know we saw Dark try to cook it up on Crimson Court in EWC, but I don't believe in Swarm hosts ever against bio. A Terran play would have to seriously... Oh my goodness. This is so silly. Don't make me regret accepting this, guys. Been chilling since minute 1. It's only fair. Ay, caramba. This will obviously never be a draw. Because Reynor's got a lot of tanks. Ooh, one of the Thors does get surrounded. But whenever you have a Terran with this many ghosts, it will never be a draw. The Reynor could have obviously played this out in a slightly more exciting manner. As Clem is gonna go up this ramp with all of his links, Banelings, Hydras, and just walks into a proper meat grinder. The meat grinder of the century. A couple of the Hydras do live for a little while. But in the end, Clem loses everything and leaves the game with 23,000 resources in the bank. As Reynor went full turtle, toxic Terran. That was unpleasant, I'm not going to lie. I'm sure that Reynor is very happy now that he feels that he really proved the point, but yeah, that's just Ghost River, guys. Like, I'm not saying that everything is perfect in StarCraft or that late game is always perfect and balanced, but I think that is mostly a Ghost River issue. Ghost River just kind of sucks. It's just not a great map for late game TVZ. Honestly, it was very nice that Clem did that, because yeah, that could have gone on for another 25 minutes. I would have personally not truly enjoyed that. What I will enjoy though is the game 4. So we played Side Delta. It must be like Alcyone now, right? Yep, it is Alcyone. What a guess! Look at me! Ghost better than Thors in late game? Yes. There's nothing better for the Terran than Ghost in late game TVZ. That was a one-off though, guys. I think that was a proper Ghost River special. Reynor had his fun with the planetaries and the sensor towers and the scanning. And now hopefully we can just go back to more of that Side Delta, because that was really fun. Nice back and forth, and I also love what Clem did in game 1. Just a well thought out strategy with a good opening. I don't need to see another Ghost River. I have Rostad. Yes, I have. Quadruple fake Nidus to conceal mass overlord drop to conceal 5th Nidus. I'm a fan. I don't know if one of the players has requested a break. I am in the lobby right now. I hosted, but I guess I missed that chat. What about Broodlord in that situation? Well, Broodlord just got sniped by Ghost. It's just Ghost counter Broodlord's incredibly hard. Reynor did 5 minutes. Clem asked for 5 minutes. Reynor said it wasn't easy. Thanks for the entertaining content. Roddy never fails to brighten my day. That's what we go for. Alright, seems like the nerds took a very tiny break. I'll take a very tiny break as well, but I'll be right back, guys, with game 4. See you guys soon. It's better to take a break now, otherwise there may be ads in the middle of game 4 if it goes past like 15-20 minutes, and that would be very frustrating for everybody. So I'll be right back. We've got 3 more best of 5s coming up, don't forget about that. Clem is ready whenever. Reynor is not ready yet, but should be ready soon. If you guys do !B, you can obviously always see the schedule for the rest of the games. There's also a tiny giveaway today. !Giveaway will link you guys to the tweet of Basilisk, where you guys can win a Geiger. There it is. By our scientist. You too can be a scientist. Hashtag science victory. We are watching Clem Reynor. Score is currently 2-1 in favor of Clem's Zerg. After this, we're going to hop into Sebadas Mojo. That's for $100. After that, it is Chem once more, who said, Brody, can I play until I lose? And I was like, well, a lot of people would like that, but why not? Why not give some love to the Mexican Zergies? So Chem will be playing Akron in a $125 series. And last but not least, it is Mixu's time to be in the main event, because I feel like he really deserved that. He's played very well lately. Always ready. Alright, sorry, while I was all tapped and going through the matches, apparently Reynor returned and they are ready. Game 4, El Cyane, a much more fun map where I'm sure we'll see a lot more battling. Big shout out to Showtime for the raid. Big shout out to Just Like Raven for joining us for 11 months. Let's do it. Map 4. Yeah, Chem is a fun player and also somebody that I think a lot of European fans don't really get to see a whole lot of. It's nice to give Chem some opportunities too. Great guy, he's been around for a while. I think we gotta show some love to our veterans in the scene. Round 4.
Quad kill.
I am misclicking everything, guys.
Let's get it on.
Streaming is hard.
Round 4. Fight.
There we go. Took me a lot of buttons, but we got there in the end. In the bottom left side of El Cyane, it's our reigning world champ. He is not the Terran today, he's our Zerg. It's the Liquid Clem. Opening up the Big Brain Bouts number 70. 70 weeks, guys, of Friday night entertainment. Brought to you guys by Basilisk. Isn't that awesome? I think it is. Top right side of El Cyane. It is the Italian Stallion. He's our Terran. He had his fun with all his sensor towers, missile turrets, orbitals. But now he's going to have to battle again, and he knows it. This is Reynor. Pi is hitting us with a little bit of science for everybody. I'm sure that will be appreciated by some, Pi. Our science overlords are always lurking in the chat, so they will appreciate you sharing some science. Yeah, CJ, it has obviously been a little bit more than 70 weeks, because as often, well, as much as I try to be Omega consistent with the Big Brain Bouts, we do miss weeks where I am traveling for Starcraft events, and I do travel a little bit throughout an entire year. Think of all the Starcraft events, think of TwitchCons. Then there are also some qualifiers that I prioritize, like the regional qualifiers of Europe, or maybe a big qualifier for IM Katowice, Esports World Cup, whatever. So it has been a little bit longer than 70 weeks, but I'd say altogether maybe like 100, 105. I'm sure you guys can just take a look at Wikipedia when the very first time was that we ran the Big Brain Bouts. I think that was when I was not even a member yet of Basilisk, and I have been a member of Basilisk now for almost 2 years, but I don't think it's been quite 2 years. So, close to that. Bible Thump is gone, yes. We are now living in the era of the Big Sad. And to be fair, I kind of like the Big Sad. I've got some great new emoji IDs though. I've had 3 slots for a long time, but there wasn't just anything that I was really fond of. I couldn't really think of anything that would really spark a lot of joy. But I've already given Vicky some instructions. I've got 2 great emojis in mind that I will have some fun with. This is your first BBB live? I know a lot of people obviously can't watch it because it is during American office hours. Some of you guys have to go to university, school, or just work. I know a lot of people enjoy watching the games back on YouTube. It has to be sometimes a little bit confusing because I don't show the chat on screen like I do for many of my other streams. So obviously if you're just watching this on YouTube, you might be wondering what on earth is he talking about. That's just the way that we do the live streams. It is 108 weeks. Yeah, so we've missed basically like 37 weeks due to other StarCraft 2 events mostly. It hasn't really, there's never been a Friday where I didn't do a Big Brain Bouts and I didn't have a valid reason for it. Let's put it like that. Clem's got Zergling speed and he is on the other side of the map already, ready to disrupt the build order of Reynor a little bit. This is solid initial damage. Can Clem find a little bit more? Can he get 3? Yes. Don't think we're gonna get a Hellion, but oh my goodness, he does get the Hellion. 3 SCVs and a Hellion, that's not too bad. For just a couple Zerglings here in the early game and some lost mining time, I think Clem will take that. Clem actually building 16 more links. This is something this has been a bit of a different series, obviously, and I don't think we can really make big statements about how Clem will always like to play Zerg. But throughout the night, we have seen Clem have a bit of that Korean approach, where they make a lot of units on moments where European Zergs would tell you it doesn't make sense to build all these units. But Clem is just trying to be obnoxious, trying to disrupt the flow of things on the side of Reynor's Terran. And trying to catch Reynor out of position. Reynor is starting to have a bit of a read on it. Kept the units at home this time, and he is more than ready for that second wave of Zergling run-bys. Well, he's actually just talking to himself. Chat is a figment of his imagination. That's how it feels like sometimes. But there are days where I do truly sit there and I just talk to myself. That is part of streaming as well, right? Obviously, it's very easy to stream if you have hundreds of people participating in the chat, asking you questions, and you just react. But sometimes chat is going to be a lot slower. And then you just sit here and you just talk to yourself. You're like, does anybody hear me? Do these words matter? And then you sneak in a random PP joke, and then suddenly everyone's like, ha! We're still here! I was like, okay, just checking, guys, just checking. Got 9 Hellions and a Banshee in the center of the map as the second Banshee is about to come out. Gotta give it to Clem's Queen movement, by the way, throughout this series. I do feel that Clem has done a very, very good job in having his queens where he needs to have them. More often than not. Just making it difficult for Reynor to find openings. Now, cast a curse perhaps, right? When you say that, Hellions drive in, kill 20-something drones, but... You're only here to get carried, Pi. Let's be honest now. Pi is just waiting for that moment where I'm like, alright guys, that is it. Time for a couple games of deadlock. And then Pi's like, yes, I can finally win. It's like, hey Roddy, can I please join? I'd love to win a game today. I'm 0-6. I was like, it's okay, Pi. That's what I do. Been educating the masses for many years in Starcraft. And if I now have to help my friends win a game of deadlock here and there, whether it's Demu or Pi, I don't mind being that guy. I will do it. That's the kind of friend that I am. No cap, you win 80% of the games without you. Now that's cap. I am 100% convinced that that is cap. Oh, mate, you wish. I actually believe it because maybe when you play with me, you actually have real competition. And when you play without me, you get your own MMR. And your MMR, let's just be honest. There are levels to this game, Pi. Similar to Starcraft 2. It's the equivalent of you playing a whole bunch of 2v2s with Reynor or Sero, and you get up there and you battle with the very best. And then suddenly you do some random team and you're like, man, these games are so easy. It's like, yeah, that's because you don't have that influx of MMR. Of playing alongside the likes of Reynor or Sero in Starcraft or Roddy in Deadlock. Thank you, Pi, by the way, for gifting us up to Pilot Grim. Thank you to Dave. Late night deadlock? I don't know about tonight. Maybe. Maybe not. I'm gonna have to discuss it with Vicky. I am a semi-free man, but we'll see how Vicky feels. I also feel like this Big Brain Bouts is gonna go very long. I shared you guys a story a while ago that Vicky gets annoyed on Mondays when Reynor signs up for the weekly cup. Because in Vicky's world, we always run mega late if Reynor is playing. If Reynor doesn't play, I'm just done at 11 and we can still have dinner at a somewhat reasonable time. It's late, but it's acceptable. But whenever Reynor signs up for anything, that 10:45 dinner or 11 p.m. dinner becomes a 1 a.m. dinner. Turns out that's not just a Monday night thing, because I don't think the first series has ever gone on for this long. We're already 30 minutes behind schedule. Yeah, Vicky Loki kind of got it. But this could be a big moment, guys. Clem has 7 Banelings, 89 Zerglings, 11 Hydras, as Reynor is working with 2 tanks, 63 Marines, and 2 Banshees. Reynor working with an old school 8-rack setup here. Big Area would be proud. Cure would be proud. If anybody knows how to deal with an 8-rack, you would think it's Clem. Then again, Clem is so good, he doesn't really have to play like this. Perhaps Reynor knows that Moja is the next player in line. He's like, I know what Moja likes. If Moja is having to wait 30-40 minutes before he can start his TVPs, well, then at least I'll give him his favorite build. And German Terran Moja is a massive fan of the Atrax. Clem has a lot of units on the other side of the map. I don't know if Reynor knows about it. I'd love to take a little look at it, but I also don't want to miss this big cent. Not the big sad, guys, but the big cent. Two Banshees are just kind of at home. Clem has now brought his units back. The ones that he was kind of trying to counterattack with. He's now going to bring them into the main fight. Reynor left a lot of units at home. Banelings deep off street, trying to find connections with the Marines. Reynor's micro is very good. Will there be eventually some sweet Baneling connections, or is the DPS of this Terran army just too high? It seems like the DPS of the Terran army is a little bit too much. Reynor does a stunning job in keeping a ridiculous amount of Marines alive. And don't forget that this wasn't even Reynor's entire army, as Reynor did have some units still at home. Still had the Banshees chilling at home as well for a while. One of the Banshees has made it to the front line. That was a big win for Reynor, as Clem has now lost 5,200 resources more. Clem is going to try to go for round 2. He had a lot of money in the bank. It is right before the 2-2 upgrades of Reynor, so if there was ever a moment for Clem, I almost want to say this was the moment. But Marines and tanks off creep are so damn difficult to defeat. And it seems like it took a little while before the Italian Stallion got going tonight, but he is absolutely going. As he is still in Clem's face, Clem is forced to pull the drones. We are going to game 5. Reynor's Terran gets 2 straight wins. One incredibly chill one. One a little more feisty and furious. Great micro by Reynor. It looked like Clem did a lot of things right there. Threatening the counter, forcing Reynor to keep some units at home. And then bringing all those units from Reynor's natural all the way back to his own triangle, trying to collapse on that army. And he came in from different angles, but Reynor did a very, very good job there, spacing out his units, keeping the tanks alive for a long time, and not just surviving with a few Marines, but that was like 30-40 Marines that survived in an all-out fight. This graph kind of says it all. They both had a big army. One army stayed relatively big, and the other one got kind of tiny. What would be the final map, guys? Would it be Golden Aura? I think Crimson Court got probably vetoed. I mean, then again, we played Ghost River. What could be our final map? Oceanborn. Oceanborn is definitely indeed, yeah, the most likely. Golden Aura and Pulse Youth is more often than not a veto. Even if I don't think that Golden Aura is all that sick for Zerg. But the final map is indeed going to be Oceanborn. What would be the most toxic thing that Reynor could do now? I think on Oceanborn you just kind of have to battle. I think that Terrans have a lot of different ways to win on Oceanborn. I also think for Zerg there is a lot of potential. There is a chance that Clem really will bring something special though. Because we've seen some slight variations in the initial build order. But nothing mega weird yet from Clem. Maybe Oceanborn is the map where Clem actually has something a bit magical. Something a bit crazy. As soon as this series is over, guys, we're going to take a tiny break and then we'll hop straight into our second series of the night. Sabbaths versus Moja. I am very excited for our main event today. I think Shameless is awesome. I think Mixu is awesome. And I think that those two youngsters are really going to give you guys some great games. But that is for much later. By the looks of it, it is going to be a long night of Starcraft. And it was about time, let's be honest. All those games of deadlock. It was time for a proper night of Starcraft.
Final round. Fight!
Top left side of Oceanborn. He accepted this, saying, I think I'm gonna get cooked, but I would still love to play. Give me a couple days and maybe I can come up with something nice. It is our French Terran, Null Zerg. Liquid Clem. And this man was deep into the replay. Probably a little shook after he went down 0-2 and somehow lost that game on Site Delta. But he set the record straight with a silly win on Ghost River, but a strong win on El Sayani. The Italian Stallion, Basilisk, Reynor. Games that aren't SC2. Brother. That was the thing, mate, in the year 2010, 2011, 2012. I'd like to think that as a scene and as a community, we have matured a little. And it is allowed for people to enjoy more than one video game. Now, I completely understand that some die-hard passionate StarCraft fans want a little bit of activity from their StarCraft 2 idols, whether it's players, casters, streamers, whatever. I understand that you want some involvement out of them. That's completely fine. But moaning about them enjoying different games as well is very, very silly. Whose idea and how did they switch races for the series? Basically, when I asked pro players for the Big Brain Bouts, especially during the off-season, they pretty much all say no, unless they can play with their off-race. So then I did try to do an entire Big Brain Bouts with everybody playing off-race. That doesn't really work. What I personally don't love is the idea of like Reynor playing Terran to then beat up on a random Zerg. Let's say, I'm not saying that Reynor's Terran would win, but let's say I ask Young Yakov or Nikic. To me, that doesn't feel that fun, and that's not really what I want to do in the Big Brain Bouts. Because if those guys win, everyone will be like, it's the off race. But if they lose, then it's quote-unquote embarrassing, even if I don't think it is. So personally, I don't want to see the top-tier pros beat up on slightly less high-ranked guys with their off race. It's just, it just feels bad. No matter what happens, it doesn't feel that satisfying. Reynor said he wanted to play, but only with his Terran. And then I said, like, well, we can maybe find another top-tier pro then that wants to play with their off-race, so I asked Clem. But I wouldn't ask main Zergs that are a bit lower ranked. I just don't think it's that nice. I'm looking forward to our next set of games now, ZG. At this point, I know that you're a gamer. I'm so excited. We're gonna have fun. I carried Ben today. Without me, Ben would have lost every single game, but thank the Lord that Benny has me in his life, so he at least got a few wins. Getting ready for that StarCraft FPS in 10 years. Yeah, I heard about it. That's obviously like somewhat exciting, but I said it before, I'm not really married to the lore or the universe. I don't care too much about it. I just care about great games. And then I don't really care who makes it, or whether it's with orcs, elves, space aliens, humans, ancient history, or in the future. To me, that's all kind of irrelevant. I just love great games. That's why I love StarCraft. That's why I'm excited over Battle Oasis. And that's why I'm omega addicted right now to Deadlock. And all those games are very different in a way, but if I just think they're great, I want to play them more, and I can enjoy it. I heard about that, Pi. I heard about that. You want to play Deadlock too? It is very easy, mate. All you need is one friend on Steam who has the game. They can invite you, and then you can start playing. I do recommend for your first session to take a proper amount of time. Don't try to enjoy it for 20 minutes and hope it's fun. Like, make sure that the first time you play it, you really have a couple hours to dive deep into it, understand it, have your bad games, get them out of the way, and then get familiar with some of the heroes, their abilities, and the items. You remember the TVT between Reynor and Sero? You know who also remembers that, mate? Reynor. If you guys would ever ask Reynor about the worst defeat of his life, some people will think like, oh, was it that Maru game in the GSO Kores? I think it's the TVT against Yona. I think that one stung the most. Because Reynor really did not expect to ever lose against Sero's Terran. And then Sero just cooked him with mech on Royal Blood. Yeah, that was a bit of a banger. Obviously, Sero's been very busy in life lately, guys, and he's been finishing up the military. There is a chance that Yona is down to play on the Friday night, maybe in 2 to 3 weeks from now. So keep an eye on this channel, keep an eye on the BASILISK Twitter or Discord. And as soon as Yona is locked in, we'll obviously announce it. We'll find something nice for him. This Friday did not work for him. Next Friday could potentially work, but I think it's a bit early. And I told Yona, I was like, well, just let me know. I want you to be excited. And then he said, I am never excited for this. And I was like, okay. Well, then we'll find out a different solution, Yona. But he was memeing. He was sarcastic. I am sure he enjoys some of it. He just knows what I like, and I like the difficult matches. Sero's always down for a challenge. We want Sero Rogue, Battle of the Military Vets. It'd be awesome, obviously, mate, and I'd love that too, but we'd have to do it at a different time then, because it's not fair to ask Rogue to play at 4 AM. First Liberator of Reynor is getting a lot of shots off, as Clem was very, very busy, guys, trying to surround these Hellions, trying to trap these Hellions, and Reynor is left just casually having a field day. That's a lot of damage for a Liberator that is still alive and is still pretty damn healthy. Zero Rogue and sent the results to Artosis. Rogue is having a sick run in this tournament. Has been running this week though. The one that Wadi has been covering. The Liu Cup. Kinda sick. Just a couple of goats in the top 3. I look at 3 guys and I see 3 goats of their respective races. Well, obviously Rogue is not my goat, but he's the goat for some. The other 2 undisputed goats. It's very cool to see him play at such a high level already. I've said many times that I was very sad when Rogue did not qualify for the most recent Esports World Cup. It just, even if I didn't think he would have done great, and I don't think he would have been the one to like stop Clem or something, it's fun to see guys with that kind of status, that kind of history at these monstrous events this deep into their career. 2024. We all hope, fingers crossed, that the Saudis love us and that we get at least 1 or 2 more years of competitive Starcraft 2, maybe many more years, and then we get to see Rogue at the biggest event of the year one more time. Because that man definitely has a bit of a reputation at those big events. I tried to snipe a couple of banelings here, but Clem had more than enough. Got a nice little macro-oriented setup between these two. Reynor, the man who was down 0-2, probably feeling pretty confident at this point. Obviously, Clem has had some great moments throughout this series. This could still go wrong. Clem is maybe a bit out of position. Has a few banelings on creep though. Couple banes is good enough for now. Doesn't really matter though, right? Say the joke. Doesn't really matter what you like or other people like. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. I know what I like. I know it was a Son of RNG. Especially on YouTube, the games did absolutely fantastic. When it comes to the live event, I know a lot of people said like, oh, there was no audience. There was a bit of an audience for Starcraft, but it wasn't that large. Some of the other games, those arenas were popping off. Like whenever you would walk by, I think it was either Rocket League or Apex Legends that was happening. Like they were loud. It was absolutely filled. The Reynor Serral TVT is definitely on the Basilisk YouTube channel. So if you do !Basilisk, I believe there is a link to the YouTube channel. Now you're gonna have to go back way in time because it was Big Brain Bouts, probably number like 15 or 20. But it is there. That TVT is absolutely posted on the YouTube channel. Clem does not have Hive yet, and I'm starting to get a little bit worried here for Clem, guys. Unlike some of the other games where I felt that Clem's transitions were very smooth and quick, and we're gonna make life pretty hard on Reynor. In this game he's been slowed down a little. +1 missile attacks is close to finishing up. Same goes for +2 carapace. Thank you to Andy, by the way, once more, matey. Don't know if I said that earlier, but I saw it, but maybe I was distracted. Thank you so much, amigo. You have been a little goat. 33 banelings on the side of Clem. You guys know that I'm a big fan of that. A proper goated number. Reynor has a lot of forces on the left side, and that means that they are not really here to help out. Clem is banelings. Can they make it into the middle line? They can't really, as there's a high ground tank that is going to keep a lot of these SCVs safe. Reynor has brought so many of his units back. Not a horrible attack by Clem, but he didn't quite get, I think, what he was looking for. Ooh, I think that Clem actually tried to burrow a couple of banelings there, but that didn't really work. They all got sniped as the scan was already active. These are painful fights. Reynor finding magnificent trades here. 12-minute game on Oceanborn. His 2-2 upgrades is so quick as well, eh? It is indeed looking incredibly good. But to be fair, so did Side Delta. Side Delta looked amazing, and on Side Delta, Clem didn't get Adrenal Glands. And it turned out that was a brilliant play. Even though his life would have probably been a little bit easier with Adrenal, but maybe Reynor would have been more cautious. If some of those fights would have gone better for Clem, maybe Reynor would have been more cautious. And it would have actually gone Reynor's way. Lynx, Hydras and Banelings trying to make their way up this ramp, but it's not going to cut it. The tanks are getting monstrous shots off and they are tucked away around that corner. It makes it so difficult for these Zerg units to get on top of it. Clem probably dreaming of a sweet counterattack, but if he counters, he is going to lose this base in the center of the map. And forced to stand his ground and fight. But Reynor just has so much. 5 tanks, 4 Marauders and 60 Marines. What could Clem do, guys? Where is the opening for Clem? I think we could... Oh, careful with the Vipers. One of the Vipers gets picked off immediately. Excellent snipe, obviously, by Reynor and his Marines. And the Blinding Cloud does connect with a couple of the tanks, and one of the tanks got abducted. Without the tank support, it is a little bit more difficult for these Marines of Reynor to find fights the way that they were finding them before. Clem saves the base, should really get Adrenal now. Maybe an Ultralisk Cavern. I don't know if he believes in Ultras or not, but... Vipers are proper goated. But obviously if Reynor, his ghost count goes up, it's gonna be a bit harder for Vipers to always have such an impact on some of these fights. This is never gonna be a game like Ghost River. That was a one-off, guys. That was a Ghost River special. I almost feel like that was Reynor trying to prove a point to map makers as well. The maps like that are terrible. As the Clem feels that he can maybe get on top of this base, this is not a planetary. He drops a couple Blinding Clouds. Not too many Banelings remaining though, and Reynor does a great job in sniping those final Banelings. The Marines stand strong without 3-3. Even just the 2-2 Marines will get it done there. Clem still no Adrenal Glands, by the way, guys. And this is obviously going to be difficult for Clem. Thank you to John, matey, for the 113 months. Hope life is good. I hope we're still landing those planes properly. You think his point was well proven? Yeah. On goes River. I think it was well done. I mean, the funny thing is that whenever you say something about a certain map, they will always like, but Sherlock and Oliver was a great game. Like, it was. Obviously, we'll always see great games on any map in StarCraft 2. No matter how good or how bad, there will be unicorns. And there will be games that are incredibly enjoyable and fun to watch. But that doesn't mean that certain maps are not just bad and poorly designed. And do not encourage fun and dynamic gameplay. Every game can give us a banger, or every map. But some maps are just bad. I think Ghost River is kind of a bad map. I've seen absolutely fantastic games on RotterdaM, but obviously RotterdaM was a bad map. Thank you to TSFSQ for the 43 months. Clem is here, lands a couple of abducts, gets the first few tanks, but it is not just tanks anymore for Reynor. We've now got those ghosts in the back lines, and we've got a couple Liberators as well in the mix, making this incredibly difficult for Zerglings and Hydras. Post-Youth is also bad. They're not great, but they're a whole lot better, I think, than Ghost River. This map pool is the worst we've had? No. The absolute worst map pool we ever had was Inside and Outside, Moondance, Stargazers, Tropical Sacrifice, whatever. That Waterfall, like, that was the worst map pool. And nothing ever comes close. When 5 out of 7 maps have a stupid in-base expand or a ramp leading into the natural, and every PvP barcode you play either 4 gates you or goes 1 gate fast expand. That was hell, as Clem has realized, but this map pool is obviously not goated either. But I'd still say that this map pool is an absolute joy compared to that awful map pool. What about Steps of War? Glorious memories, mate. SCV rushing, guys. 60 HP. Vamos. Where's the Nidus? Maybe Clem is not a Nidus believer. Or maybe we'll see a little bit later. At least he is a believer in Adrenal Glances. He's queued it up. He's going to try to bulldoze his way through. Lorca's Blinding Clouds. It is good enough to get the planetary, but is it good enough to really stick around and ever make life hard on these ghosts? Seems like the answer is no for now. But on this map, guys, where even if Clem is sick and tired of attacking on this location, he can always try his luck through the center. Is it hard? Yes. Impossible? No. Or he can always try to come from the bottom left side and try to see if he can find an opening there. Reynor really is going full turtle Terran once more. There is only $60 on the line. Obviously, for a lot of gamers, that's awesome. For these two guys that have played for tens and thousands of dollars, sometimes hundreds and thousands of dollars, a 60 bucky off race best of 5, it really does feel like it's more about the honor, it's more about the prestige. And you guys can see that Reynor does not want to lose this one. Because Reynor probably knows that deep down inside, the community will never let it go. If he loses with his Terran, then yaddy yaddy reverse race. And Clem, a man who's got less experience with Zerg than Reynor has with Terran, has definitely made this a very fun series. It'd be mega hype if there's one more great fight that Clem can find somewhere. Not necessarily to win, but to at least make life very hard. Because at this point, Reynor is pretty comfortable. Clem has lost 9,000 resources more. That's definitely on the higher side of things. As Clem is going to try his luck here in the bottom left side. Do we have some abducts? Yes, we do. So the Liberator is not really participating. Ghost running for the hills. Couple of the tanks will fall. This is where Clem is going to have to disengage and remax immediately. And then hope. And he can get on top of this base over here at the 7 o'clock position. 64 lings, 8 Hydras. It is enough to remax. Left a couple lurkers in the top side as well. It's kind of cool. The shocking Infestor is making his way over. Reyna's got a mild obsession with missile turrets and sensor towers. They're all over each other. I would have normally rooted for Reyna's Terran, but with the amount of sensor towers that he has built, I'm low-key rooting for Clem here. This one's going for 45 minutes. I don't think that Clem wants that. I think Clem will do his absolute best to not make it go for 35 minutes. We're almost 1 hour behind schedule now, by the way. There are 6 Norths waiting. That I could also allow the community to participate. Would it be alright to post? Absolutely, man. A giveaway for Beerfest. I am sure we have some Bavarians out there that will take a cheeky beer. Maybe Lambo's interested, man. Rig it and let Lambo win. There's a few abducts will land on the Liberators. They get picked up immediately. Reynor's ghost count is high though. 20 of them in total. Which one? There's so many, mate. I don't know which sensor tower you're asking me. You mean like these two, that they're close to each other, or? Reynor's just got too many. Reynor has 9 sensor towers. Oh, these two, they're like right next to each other. Oh my god. The Bermuda Triangle of Death. I swear, guys, Hydras have entered here. And they disappeared from the radar, only to never be found again. Every Zerg unit that enters that triangle disappears. Which turret is my favorite? The first one that Clem takes down. That's my favorite. Nice hold position there with the Zerglings. An EMP does land on the Vipers. It goes to get in range and they snipe. Reynor obviously enjoying himself. Having a good time. For Clem this is a bit frustrating. Because I don't think that Clem has a crazy amount of practice in these games. And of course there will be some diehard Zerg fans that say, but even if he did, it doesn't matter. Nothing a Zerg can do. On Ghost River I would say that's absolutely correct. Some of the other maps I feel like there is some playability. There are plays to be made. But you don't need experience, you need practice. 50 minutes ago I jokingly told Sabadas, I'll see you in an hour. Little did I know. That's what Moja is saying. Yeah, I'm sorry to Moja, Sep, Aquaron and Cham, but it's Friday night. No one should really have any big plans. I can only get worried if it's like Cuckoo, you know you've got plans with the crazy Romanians later tonight. So those kids, they need to be sharp. My 6 remaining players are all video gamers. For Shem, it's a bit early, but I think he's gonna be fine. You know, it would be absolutely sick though, guys. Hear me out. And I think Moja would be okay with being delayed for another 45 minutes. Clem Neuroparasites, an SCV of Reynor, builds a command center, builds a barracks, builds a factory, builds a starport, and turns this into a TVT with Raven Viking, baby. Raven Viking Infestor Viper. And then he says, Reynor, look at me now, as Clem's entire army just exploded here, by the way, against all these girls. A lot of goals in the late game are very good. Poor Clem just dropped 70 supply and barely killed a unit. Ay caramba. We are going to remax on 14 Hydras, 54 Zerglings. I'm gonna try to outmaneuver this Terran army, but everywhere we look there are missile turrets and sensor towers. Reynor was excited to play this. Maybe after that second game he was a little shook and he's like, uh-oh. This ain't actually happening. We can see that all of Reynor's experience of being on the right side of this and the wrong side is paying off. He has played a lot of late game TVCs. He enjoys it. As Reynor likes to say, the race plays itself. I can guarantee you guys that's not true. It is incredibly difficult to be world class with Terran. As much as we all like to moan about a little Widowmine here and Liberator there, the race does not play itself. Yeah, if you are as good in video games as Reynor, then I guess eventually you'll find yourself in these places when you can make it a bit easier on yourself. With all the sensor towers and missile turrets, as Clem does land a few abducts, it's just Reynor's got such incredibly well spread out concave, it's impossible to attack into. Everywhere we look, it feels like it's almost impossible for Clem to attack into Reynor. And Reynor is just refusing to max out. Reynor has lost one of his sensor towers. Got 24 missile turrets, is gonna build 4 more. Shout out to Mr. Dingleberry for the 18 months. I appreciate it. 24 minutes into the 5th game, the winner gets $60, the loser gets 15. Look at these guys battling. Hey, there's a lot more about the bragging rights and the honor. Not the sensor tower, one of many though. A couple sensor towers have died. Reynor is gonna do his scanning flower thing again. He's got 7 orbitals at the moment. He's building 3 more command centers. Clem is trying one more time here at the 3 o'clock position. He drops a blinding cloud or 2. Should be able to get a command center. Should maybe be able to get the orbital, but at what cost? Gets 13 SCVs, gets the CC, gets the orbital. We can say that he didn't get anything done. That final lurker is getting a couple shots off. One infestor from the high ground cannot land the Fongo as Reynor lands a sick EMP there. Fongo could have been sick because there were still a couple banelings in the mix, right? He's not gonna bother caching. You know, Steve, I tried to pay Clem for the Battle Aces Showmatch we had a while ago. It's $150. Clem left me on read. He didn't even respond. I'm like, hey Clem, I need your PayPal. Nothing. I was like, geez, big shot. For some people, this means something. I gave him a hard time in Bulgaria about it. And Clem was like, oh no, sorry Roddy, I didn't see it. I was on holiday. I was like, it's fine, Clem. It's mine now. But then I bought him dinner and an ice cream, and we deducted it. And now I have a tiny open bill at Clem. Next beer, ice cream, dinner is on me as well. 12 cents. 12 cents is a lot, man. Roddy is counting those pennies. In case you guys are wondering, like, what the hell? 3 minutes of ads? He's like, yeah, for me, that's a big payday. That's me every time I walk away from the computer, baby. 12 cents at a time. Woohoo! Every break makes a difference. Clem is trying to keep his Lorcas alive while bringing the Queens to the front line. We got 13 of them. We have 2 infestors. It seems like Clem has given up on Vipers for a little bit. I like how Clem has just said, F it. More Lorcas. 13 Lurkers can't do it. Let's make it 26. And wouldn't it be poetry? Wouldn't there be some Zerg justice? If 26 lurkers can just run on top of all the gulls, burrow, kill everything, few fungals, pew pew pew. This is probably it, guys. Clem's Hail Mary. It is now or never. Reynor thinks he can just snipe, lens the EMPs on the infestors once more. Very unfortunate. And Clem, his overseers keep on melting as Reynor keeps on sniping them. And there are so many missile turrets too. Clem tried with 26 lurkers, could not land the fungals. Reynor knew where the infestors were, saw them coming. And this is kind of it. A reverse sweep then, guys, in our first best of 5 of the day. Between two world champions in Starcraft. One reigning, one previous. The final lurkers will not do it. GG, well played, gets called. And Reynor gets his victory. 3-2. It was down 0-2. Turned it around with a lot of ghosts. A lot of snipes. A lot of planetaries. And way too many sensor towers for my liking. That is going to do it for our first best of 5. I'm going to keep it short, guys, because we are 1 hour behind schedule. I have Moja and Sebedus who are eager to play. Next series is going to be for a little bit more. We've got 2 more after this. I hope you guys enjoyed some reverse action of the big boys as an opening night. The reason Reynor and Clem played first is because I wanted to use them to highlight some of the other guys and give some love to players like Akron, Mixu, and Chem, and of course Shameless later, as I all think they're very exciting. Sep, of course, I mean everybody. So, big shout out to Reynor and Clem for agreeing to play with this. I hope they had fun. I think Reynor had a lot of fun in the end. I think Clem had no fun at all. I have absolutely no time for an interview because we are running a tournament. But what you guys can always do is hop over to Reynor's stream. Reynor is here.
Yapping and tapping.
And I'm sure that he will be yapping with you guys. And I'm sure that he'll be celebrating. So if you guys want to talk to Reynor about the games, ask him a question or two, you guys can do it over at this channel. But I really have to get ready for the 3 remaining best of 5s that I have to cover tonight. As my nerds are ready. You guys believed in Reynor's Terran. It was Reynor's Terran in the end that gets the 3-2 victory. Apparently I made a bad prediction yesterday. And I apologize to the people who lost points when they didn't deserve to lose points. Unfortunate misclick. Was not meant to be. Moja versus Sebedus. Best of 5. BBB number 70. 80-20. Moja, German, Terran, 6k, Sebedus, check, P, 6k. So high level gaming, we will continue here immediately. You guys get 10 minutes. I'll take a very tiny break. After that, I'll be back. TVP coming up.